Good afternoon, class. My name is Adrià Soler, and today I'm going to talk to you about my favorite object. I wanted to sort of kick off the conversation by asking if any of you guys have a favorite band. Just raise your hand if you do for me. Cool. Counting a couple. Some of y'all raise your hand twice. I love it. How many of you have a favorite band but hate paying for band merchandise? Right? I guess that sort of helps introduce my favorite object because it is a band hat. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the physical properties of it. I'm gonna also try and tell you how I got it, and then I'm gonna go into some detail about why it is my favorite thing in the whole world. So don't let me stop myself from starting. It is a black hat. It's pretty simple. It has an Iron Maiden patch across the front. It's pretty well worn. There's some sweat stains on it. The patch is raised up off the hat. It says Brave New World 2000. I'm pretty sure that's a tour date of theirs. It has a really convenient snap on the back. The hat does its job well. I mean, it sits tight and you can adjust it. It blocks the sun and the wind from my face. Now that I've told you a little bit about what the hat looks like, I'd like to tell you how I came in contact with these two things, because remember, it is a hat and a patch. I actually got the hat biking home one day. I used to work at a Starbucks, and a friend of mine worked at a Cinemark around the corner, and I would always see him on my way home, and we made plans to hang out that night. And later that night when I was at his house, he was like, hey, I have this hat I don't really want. It's a Cinemark hat. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, sure. I could probably do something with this. And that's how I got the hat. I've had the patch actually since middle school. It was on a jacket that I wore pretty much every single day through middle school. And like I tried to bring it with me into high school, but it was just torn to shreds. So I went ahead and cut the patch out actually. Now that I've told you a little bit about how I came into contact with both these objects, I'd like to tell you why this is my favorite one object. Iron Maiden's actually my favorite band, which is why I asked y'all about your favorite bands. So I know that a lot of the times we want to rep what we love, and not only is Iron Maiden my favorite band, but I was introduced to them by my mom, who's one of my favorite people. She lives kind of far away, so whenever I listen to them now, I'm always reminded of her. I don't get to see her often, so there's the attachment to that. The hat in itself is important because I sewed the patch on. Like I said, it was an old Cinemark hat. I don't know if you look at the inside, but you can kind of see that logo. So it's a DIY, and I always say DIY or don't get high. Which is kind of like a memento to being creative and that feeling of success that you get when you are able to make something successfully make something. Wow, my bad. But it also reminds me to challenge my roots because I came from loving this band as a child, and it's something that I still really appreciate today. So when I wear it, it's just like a constant reminder of like where I'm from and the ability that I have with where I want to go. Now that I've told you a little bit about why it's my favorite hat, I just want to thank y'all again for hanging out with me, and I hope that you got some insight onto why I like some of the things that I like.